Welcome to Creepy and Geeky. I'm your host, Robert, and today I'm talking to Donna from the Dawn of the Dead podcast about Final Destination 2. But first, she and I are talking about the latest stuff. How's it going, Donna?
Hey Robert, it is going pretty well. I will
Good.
tell you, I'm so excited for this year to be over. We just started November and I'm like, come on Thanksgiving, come on Christmas. I'm ready. I'm ready for a
Yeah,
new
but
start at this point.
I don't know, man. It's I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure, but at the same time, like January always feels like 6 months long.
That is true.
Um, and so I'm just always like I always dread January. It just feels so long. I don't know why that is. And then it's just like and then the rest of the year barrels through.
That's
So,
true.
but yeah. Because like October came and went. I don't know. It's like it felt like I don't know. There were times where it felt really slow, and then also it just seemed to zip right by. So I don't know, but we'll see. I got a lot going on. Got a big move coming next week, so um, so it'll be pretty big. Well, my wife and I and my daughter are moving into an apartment, and then my son, his wife, and their son are moving down south, and
Oh
so
wow.
it's like two separate moves, back to back because the three of us are moving out next week, and then the next week after that, my son and his family are moving out. So it's like, oh boy, a lot going on.
That is a
So,
lot going on. My goodness.
yeah, so November is going to be kind of packed, literally. Um, but that being said, other than that, everything else is going along okay. Things are going generally all right.
Well, that's
Um,
good.
so yeah. So this week I did get to go see a new movie. I got to see the new Predator Badlands,
How was
which was
that?
it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of
Good.
fun. I think it's a good, fresh, new direction for this series. I think Dan Trachtenberg is 3 for 3 right now. Prey, Killers, and now Badlands are like excellent. I think that he is expanding the Predator universe in a lot of great ways that we just hadn't had. I'll admit, like, even as a fan of the Predator, like I even before watching the new
Hmm.
one, I rewatched all the main movies. I didn't. I was gonna watch the Alien versus Predator ones, but I didn't get a chance to. So, um, I um, I watched all the other ones, and when you look at the first three, the first one's certified gold. I mean,
Right.
the original Predator is perfect. But like two, and Predators and the Predator, it all kind of diminishes after a while.
Hmm.
And because it's like the same thing. I mean, Predators took a different tactic by taking the humans and putting them on a planet, but it's still the Predators hunting humans. And so I think that with Prey setting it in the past, and then Killers setting it in three past time periods, and kind of pushing the mythos forward. And now with Badlands setting it in the far future, and combining some aspects of the Alien franchise,
Right.
we get a little bit more of a um, I don't know, a little bit more fun stuff to play around with. And this one, we got our first time as a predator as the protagonist. Um, and so you got him and some of the other predators actually talking in their language. They actually had to create a language for them to use in the movie. I guess the people who created the Navi language for the Avatar movies, they
Hmm.
also created the Predator language. Um, so it's really cool. I think that this was a lot of fun, um and a good push forward in for the franchise, and I'm excited to see what comes next. And it's
I think
action packed.
I
So
think you're right though. Trachtenberg is really kind of given like a fresh take on this whole Predator franchise, and every iteration that he's put out has just really seemed to knock it out the park. I even like
hmm
the little buddy cop aspect that they have with him and the Wayland Yutani
yeah.
synthetic. So this I can't wait to see. I don't know if I'm gonna go see it because you already know I'm not a big going out to the
Yeah.
movie theater person, but I do want to see it because I'm with you. I think he's really kind of reinvigorated this franchise and has not had a dud as far as I can see. It's always been very entertaining.
Yeah, no, these I put I let's see, in a ranking of Predator movies, Predator, the first Predator is going to be at the top. And then
Hmm.
like these next three are kind of like right there after it. Like everything that came before this, between the original Predator and these three movies, is down below. So like Trachtenberg has reinvigorated this franchise in a way that I don't think anybody
Hmm.
else could have. So and he's passionate about it. And it's interesting too because I did see people talking about how um they kind of neutered this. It is a PG-13 movie. It's the first PG-13 movie in the franchise. Every other one's been rated R, but that's because everybody that's being killed in this is either an alien monster or a synthetic.
Hmm.
So there's no human blood. And so because of that, the MPAA was just like, okay, yeah, PG-13. So he didn't
Right.
he's on record as saying he didn't intend to make a PG-13 movie. He wasn't trying to. He was just trying to make this movie. It just happened to be that way because that's the
Hmm.
way the ratings board does it. And Disney had no mandate for him to, according to him, Disney had no mandate for him to pull it in as a PG-13. And I wouldn't think so because Prey wasn't like that. And also Killers, as much as it's animated, it also wasn't like sanitized or anything. Um, so I just think, it just happened because of the way the story was that
Right.
that's the only reason. Because the action is still there, the violence and the quote unquote gore is still there. It's just not happening to humans. So, and the NPAA is just weird about stuff like that. So, but yeah, no, I think it's a lot of fun. I think you should definitely watch it. If you can get out the theaters, great. If you can't, and you don't want to, yeah, just wait. It'll be out there eventually. Um, and I think it's definitely worth the watch though if you like it. So, um, if you dig the whole Predator stuff and the Alien universe stuff is just literally the Weyland Yutani Corporation.
Hmm.
There's no xenomorph. They've gone on record. I'm not spoiling anything. They've gone on record as saying there's no xenomorphs in this. So that's not to say that they won't eventually bring them into it, but that's just not there yet. So,
Right.
but yeah, but it's a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, and it gives you, it really does give you a fresh new take on the whole lore and mythos of the entire franchise. So I'm here for it. I'm can't wait. There's a little tease at the very end. It's pre-credits, so and there's nothing during the credits or after the credits. So it's a nice easy watch. So,
Well, I'm
but
glad to hear it
yeah,
was fun.
yeah, yeah, definitely. All right. But besides that, what did you bring this week?
So I sat here before we got on and recorded, y'all. I sat here and told him I only had one trailer, but I actually lied. I have two trailers this week,
Ah,
but it's not a whole lot. So there's a Michael Jackson biopic
yeah,
that's coming out in 2026, and I watched the trailer for this. I actually am all the way fully in, mostly because of the people who are acting in this film. We pretty much know everything we need to know about Michael Jackson. I don't think we
yeah.
needed this big blown out movie, but the trailer looks fantastic. The musical numbers are going to be great because it's the music. Um, it's gotten a lot of views, so I know that they're gonna have a lot of asses in seats for this one. I probably
Hmm.
will not be one of them, but I will watch it whenever it comes out to streaming. But the fact that we've got Coleman Domingo and Nia Long and Miles Teller and Michael Jackson's nephew, Jafar Jackson, is actually playing Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I just saw
I'm
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm heavily invested in this. So um I do want to see it. I don't know if we necessarily needed it, but it does look interesting. I mean, it looks blown out and like it's going to be a really, really good movie to
Yeah.
watch.
Well, and like my thing with this is too, like I really hope, like, so I doubt with his nephew being a part of it that they're really gonna dive too deep into this, into the life, and it seems like it's just about let's see. Okay, never mind. Um well, it says the screenplay includes content regarding child sexual abuse accusations against Jackson. So that was my thing. It was like, I hope they're gonna like actually have some of the dark side of
Oh,
his
no, yeah, they're
his
definitely
stuff.
addressing that.
Um, with King saying he wanted to humanize but not sanitize and present the most compelling, unbiased story. Jackson's daughter, Paris, said the script was sugar-coated and dishonest, but that fans would likely enjoy it. So I don't know. It was like two sides there. So I don't know. Maybe then filming it may have changed or something. I don't know. Um, but that's interesting coming from his daughter saying
Mhm,
that it's dishonest and sugar coated. Um, but yeah, no, I saw the trailer for this. I was interested. I mean, it's kind of hard not to be an 80s kid
mhm,
and still have some kind of like, at least if you were a pop fan, um, have some kind of connection to Michael Jackson.
yeah,
And so it's he was an indelible part of the 80s. You know, that I always that to me they were like the three big names from the 80s, Michael, Madonna, and Prince.
mhm.
And sure there's other people that people could say were bigger, but I'm just talking about in terms of
Those
pop
were the
music.
biggest at the
Like
time, and they
yeah,
reinvented themselves all the time. Every album they
exactly.
came out with was a mega hit, everything. I mean, there's a reason that they sold out all of these stadiums and stuff. I mean, I'm
Hmm.
with you, those were definitely the big 3. It's
Yeah.
ironic to me, though, that as talented as Prince was and as talented as Michael Jackson was, Ma Madonna was barely talented, but she knew how to market herself, so that's why she
Yeah.
was as big as she was. I mean, really,
Yeah. No.
she even said it herself, she's not the best dancer, she's not the best singer, but she knows how to market herself, and she did it
Yeah.
well to be amongst
Hmm.
those 2 giants. You know what I mean?
This is true. This is very
Um,
true. Yeah.
and no shade to her, I don't have a problem with Madonna, but she was never my
Yeah.
favorite. Like,
No,
Prince was
same.
definitely my favorite, and growing up with the Jackson 5s and listening to all their albums as a kid, there was no way in hell I wasn't gonna be a fan of Michael Jackson. I mean, everybody had
Yeah.
Thriller in their house, y'all. You don't understand. You could go to the most rural redneck place in the world, and somebody would have Thriller in that freaking house. That it's like,
Yeah.
the
I,
joke is that they gave them out like, freebies of
yeah.
Tide because everybody had one.
I don't remember us actually owning Thriller. That's what's even
You are a
funnier.
rare anomaly, sir,
No,
'cause
it was. It was. It wasn't that we were immune to it either. I mean, he was just everywhere. It wasn't like he was just like my parents were like, "Oh, no, we don't like Michael Jackson or anything like." It was just they didn't own the record for some
Right.
the only records I remember my parents owning, and I know they had more, but these were the ones that like I remember just because of their
Mhm.
covers was Journey.
Oh, yeah.
Because the Journey records always had that like thing, like that
Weird
ship
artwork
bursting
stuff,
from
right?
the
Yeah.
like the planets or something like that, and it was the weirdest thing. Anyway, side tangent, but yeah, no, I'm to me, I'm looking more forward to a Prince biopic, like because his was such a complicated life.
Yes.
And so I would love to see somebody be able to do that. There was supposed to be a Netflix Prince documentary, but I think it's the Prince estate,
Estate, yeah.
yeah, meddled with it, and I think we're not getting what we should have gotten out of that. So unfortunately, but yeah, no, this Michael Jackson biopic looks interesting. I'll definitely watch it. Definitely not going to be a movie like a theater watch.
Yeah, that's what
But
I'm
it'll be
thinking, I'm gonna
something later
wait.
on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a new one on Netflix I want to watch too. About Lisa. Um, and I kind of want to check that one out. I don't know if you see that one
No.
pop up, but yeah. So apparently, people in the comments of the trailer were like, "What about Full Force being part of it?" And like, I think it's just they're not like hyped in the trailer, but they might be in
Mm-mm.
the movie. I don't know. So I'll have to watch the
Yeah, I'll have to
biopic to
look out
see.
for
But
that.
yeah, if anybody doesn't know, Lisa was a minor pop figure in the 80s. So not super minor, but like I would definitely say that she wasn't as big as a lot of other people from the 80s.
No.
And I think she's more late 80s as well. So So anyway, but well, that's
So
cool. Yeah, definitely gonna have to check that out.
so that was my first trailer. I'm just gonna go ahead and knock out the other trailer because it's not really even that big of a trailer.
Okay.
Because I'm a huge murder mystery nut at this point in my life,
Yeah.
and my mother owned every Agatha Christie book that was ever published. I have all of her books now that she's gone. It's like I don't even know where I'm gonna put all of this stuff. But uh, Netflix is making an Agatha Christie Seven Dials, and it's actually a three-episode a murder
Mm.
mystery. I'm really, really excited to see this. Um, it's one that has a lot of stars. It's got Helena Bonham Carter, Martin Freeman, who I love, and a
Mm,
couple of
yeah.
other English people that I'm not really familiar with. But this is just one of those things I love when they have a country house mystery. It's like a mystery that takes
Mm,
place in
yeah.
one setting, and we've got to figure out who has actually done it, or if there are a couple of people who've actually done it. But it won't be out until January 15th, I think. So that's the other trailer that I saw. And it's a barely a trailer. It really is more of a teaser, but
Yeah.
because I love Martin Freeman so much, I have to watch this. This scene, I have to.
Yeah. Interesting. Oh, you become officially an old lady,
I can't help it. I grew up trust me, if it was any kind of crime, Columbo, Murder, She Wrote, any of those, I know all of those. Like,
That's
Poker Face
so
was the
funny.
best thing to come out because I
I
was
still need
missing
to
that.
finish watching that.
Dude,
I
you gotta
I
get on
know,
that.
I know. I like the show. I'm not immune to the murder mysteries myself. Um, but I've been like, so for me, like I have it's so funny too, because I wrote a blog post about this years ago. And it was like upon my realization that as much as I liked horror and comic books and stuff like that, that I had been immersed in um crime fiction
Mhm.
my whole life, because I had been like, I remembered reading the Encyclopedia Brown stories when I was a
I used to
kid.
love those.
I love those. And I was one of those kids, like I didn't care. Like I wasn't I like I always, after I read it, I immediately flipped to the thing. I didn't try and puzzle it out myself. I was like, how could I figure this? Nah, I don't care. I just wanted to find out. Like, I just needed the story. And I'm the same way now. I don't try to figure out who the killer is in any of these movies or books or anything like that. But as it went along, like I would read other stuff and everything, and like, and it's not so much um like mystery
Mhm.
stuff that I really like. It's crime fiction in general. And so that'll play into something here at the end of the episode.
Oh.
So yeah. At the end of this segment of the episode. But yeah, so it's funny that you bring that up, and that it's always been a part of my life as well. So as much as I've loved all that other stuff, that crime fiction itself has always been a part of my life also. So I just think it's one of those things that, just as people, we're always fascinated by. I mean, that's the whole rise of true crime and everything over the last few decades has just been like crazy. So,
Mhm.
but all right. Well, I got two trailers and a teaser to talk about, and then we'll get into our comic book section at the end here. There's a trailer for Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair, which is finally coming to theaters officially from Lionsgate. They are apparently this is something that Tarantino has only shown like at his theater, or
Right.
um, whenever he goes around or whatever he shows people. So we're finally getting the 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 whole Kill Bill, both volumes one and two, put together with all new footage. There have been bootlegs of this. I actually have a bootleg of this. But it'll be nice to see it in, like, I'm assuming that after they put it out at the theaters that we'll get a physical release of this as well. So fingers crossed that that'll happen, because I would love to see that um, as a whole thing.
Yeah,
So
me too.
because there's different, because like it's different context. They're there's some new things added to it that add some different context to a couple of different things. It doesn't change the movie anything. It just kind of adds more depth to it. And then the segment where she fights the crazy 88s in the restaurant or whatever.
Hmm.
That in the original was in black and white. It'll be in full color in this version. So um, so it'll be interesting to watch that. So yeah, I'm excited for that as a Quentin Tarantino fan. It's always nice to get stuff. I wish he'd stop this whole 10 movie thing and then he's done because it feels like he can't figure out what he wants to do for his last movie now. And it's like he set himself up for this really
Yeah,
problematic
I'm a little
thing.
over that. Just
Oh
make
yeah. Just
out the
make
movies.
movies,
Just,
man.
I
Just
mean, Scorsese's like, already almost 90 or in his 80s, and he's still making out
yeah.
movies. He's not
And
giving.
I get it that he doesn't want to like spin his wheels at the end and be all like, "Oh, I'm just churning out crap." I don't think Scorsese's churning out crap from everything that he's been doing. Like Killers of the Flower Moon was huge. So, um, like I don't know. He just
I
needs
don't
to
know,
stop.
putting the unnecessary pressure on yourself is
Yeah,
he's given us a lot of really great movies, and maybe everybody doesn't like them. I do, but
I
you
do.
know, a lot of people
Yeah,
don't like a lot of QT's movies, but that's on them. I mean, you should just keep
yeah,
making movies. I love his dialogue. I think that would be a shame if he didn't make more movies. It's
yeah.
terrible.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Anyway, but yeah, so that's coming. I think towards the end of the year, maybe the beginning of next year.
Hmm.
But I'm excited. So it's at least something new-ish. So maybe it'll rekindle his desire to make Volume 3 and show the kids grown up
That would
and
be
seeking
awesome.
seeking their vengeance. Yeah.
Yep.
So we get Maya Hawke as
It writes itself. Just
I
get
know, I'm telling you. It is right there, man. Come on, just make it. All right. So next, there was a trailer for Stranger Things: Tales from '85, which is a new animated
Oh,
series that's going to be set in 1985. I guess they said it's between seasons 2 and 3, and it's the kids on a whole new adventure. I looked it up. None of the kids reprise their voices, so it's all new voices for the kid things. Which I was like, it would have been okay for them to do that. Like between seasons 2 and 3, all the boys' voices had changed enough that that they could have gotten away with
right.
using their current voices. But they're probably all busy doing other things now. So but yeah, no, it looks like it'll be fun. A nice little animated spin-off. I don't know if it's gonna go past this one season, but we'll see how well it does on its own. I'm excited. Anything Stranger Things, I get it. It sucks that we've been waiting for so long
Hmm.
for the whole series to be complete. By the time it's completed, it'll have been almost 10 years for only 5 seasons. But I don't know. I'm still here for it. I've always loved it. I'm still doing my rewatch. I finally finished season 2 the other night. I'm about to start season 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just when I get to season 4 when all those episodes were like an hour plus. Like
That's where it kinda like, "Oh my
yeah,
gosh."
yeah. But also at the same time, I think season 4 is the best season.
Yeah,
So,
I really do too.
but yeah.
Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
like you,
Well,
I'm invested. Thank you for telling me about this,
yeah,
'cause I didn't know about that.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm excited to see what it's about. So, all right. The last thing I have is a very light teaser for the next Godzilla movie coming from Toho, which is a sequel to Godzilla Minus One called Godzilla Minus Zero. So that's literally all the teaser tells you is that it's called Godzilla Minus Zero. There's no information other than the fact that it's the same guy who made the last one doing it again. So
Mm,
so I'm excited because Minus One was the best Godzilla movie that's ever come out. Um, and I don't think that anybody really, I mean, sure, people can quibble and say the first Godzilla movie is the best one, but I think this is the best one, at least since the first one.
mm.
And there's lots of good Godzilla movies, not gonna lie, but this one was obviously so good that it won an Academy Award. Um, so Minus Zero should be a lot of fun. I'm not sure when it's coming out. Hopefully next year. But I'm excited to see where they go because they left a couple little breadcrumbs of stuff in the first movie. So definitely excited for that. And that's all I got, other than to talk about our comic book stuff.
Oh, okay.
Um, but what is your comic book for this week?
So I brought, as I'm always in the horror graphic novels, I brought another one that actually it's God, it's almost 10 years old now that I'm thinking about it. Um, it's one called Winnebago Graveyard, and it came out in
Mm.
2017. Excuse me, but it's created by Steve Niles and Allison Sampson. I'm a huge Steve Niles fan, and Winnebago Graveyard follows a family on a road trip going across the United States. Their car breaks down and they have to stay in a motel, but they suddenly realize that something is amiss and are now on the run from some cultists who have some dark rituals that they need to tend to, and this family just happens to be right in their lap. Um, it makes me, and I'm sorry, my throat is. Give me 1 second. Let me go get some water.
Okay.
1 second, Rob.
All right.
Sorry about that.
No
Um,
problem.
one thing I can say, the reason this one kind of fell into my lap was that it's kind of a little bit of the best of slasher horror, just because this family is trying to stay alive, and it's it's bare bones. It's right to the cut of what's going to happen. The ending of this one was a little, I won't say unexpected, but it was definitely not what I was thinking. It went completely different from where I thought it was going to go.
Interesting. I do happen to own that for one of the many, many, many humble bundles I have. So
Oh, it's
as
always
soon
the
as you
humble
said that, I know
bundles.
there's been a couple of you've said that I didn't have, but yeah, I most of the time you're bringing up stuff that I actually do have, so which is great.
Yeah, I
Because
feel
then
like this.
I would like, oh, I could actually read that now.
Yeah,
So
I feel like if they adapted this into a movie, it would definitely be a hit. This is just my own
that's
personal
cool.
horror nerd opinion, but it was a lot of fun. It was not what I expected, and I was pleasantly surprised. I'll just say that.
Yeah. Well, and Steve Niles was the co-creator of 30 Days a Night. So
Right.
definitely I could see him being maybe positioned in it for a movie of some sort because he had originally intended 30 Days of Night to be a movie. So all right, cool. Well, my comic book is kind of horror, kind of crime. It's by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips, which I brought up on the show before
Hmm.
recently, talking about their comic book Criminal. But this one's called Fatale. And this is about this kind of mixes in like the femme fatale genre. There's this woman that these guys just can't not like be obsessed with and do things for because it's kind of a power she has. She has the power to kind of like make men obsessed with her. And then for good and bad. It's not necessarily a controllable power.
Hmm.
But there's also some people hunting her, and it's got some Lovecraftian vibes to it.
I remember you
Um,
telling me about this, and I did
yes,
enjoy reading. I haven't read
yeah,
all of them, but I did enjoy it.
yeah. So it's a lot of fun. It's definitely, if it's again back in that what I was saying earlier about crime fiction. I got into Brubaker and Phillips through their crime books, but I love Fatale just because it mixes the horror and the crime stuff together pretty well. So, um, definitely worth reading if you like, a little Lovecraftian vibes with your crime fiction. And yeah, no, it's just a lot of fun. They Image just put out a Fatale compendium not too long ago,
Oh,
so
wow.
so you can get the whole story in one big trade paperback. So, but that's all I have for this week's stuff. But before we move on to the rest of the show, why don't you let everyone know what you got going on your show this week?
Yeah, the last time we spoke, I said I was going to do like a schlock fest and do a bunch of schlock movies, and then it just dawned on me. I was like, "Oh, we're in November. Why don't I do Norvember?" So,
Yeah.
so I kind of switched up because of the whole alliterative process. I can't help it. Um, and so the first film I did for Norvember was Cast a Deadly Spell, which was an HBO original film about H.P. Lovecraft being a private detective in 1940s where everybody
I
uses
still need to
magic.
watch that. It's on my list on HBO Max. It's been on there since like I think we got HBO Max, and I just
Right.
keep not watching it. So
To be perfectly honest with you, I am just doing a bunch of horror noir films, and I don't want to say what the next one is because I'm still in the
okay.
process of editing. I'm always trying to figure out which one I want to drop, but it will be a horror noir film, and that's going to be the
Okay.
theme for the month of November.
All right. Well, that fit very well with my my comic book recommendation. So
It actually does. I wish Fatale was a series. I would watch that all the time.
Oh man, yeah, that would be great. I think that'd be a great limited run series, maybe a
Yeah.
couple of seasons on it. But yeah, that's cool. All right. Well, I look forward to that. All right. Well, let's go ahead and transition in to our main topic for this episode, which is continuing my look at the Final Destination series with the second movie, Final Destination 2. Um, this one continues the story pretty well, just goes like follows up. I think the whole series as a whole is pretty good at referencing the events of the first movie. And this one is no stranger to that. This
Hmm.
one is a year later. It's on the year anniversary of the plane um not crash, but the plane explosion. Um and the events that happened in the first movie. And we meet a whole new group of people that one of them has a premonition of something happening and um, decides to stop it from happening for that group, and that's what carries us through the rest of this movie. I will say this one's got some of the greatest kills of the franchise in it, and has forever changed everybody's
I already
everybody's
know what.
driving habits. You cannot. This is the movie that changed it for everybody. Nobody stays behind a logging truck anymore. Everybody will always go around
They're
or
going the
will
other
go
lane.
way back. Yeah. But this is the movie that
Oh
changed that
my
for everybody.
God.
Even in so much that Katrina had mentioned it. I think she mentioned it in the last episode, but she mentioned seeing that there was marketing for it where they had Final Destination posters or something on logging trucks.
Oh my God.
Um, as for the newest one for Bloodlines.
Right. I can
And
see that.
and I'm just like, I love the new viral marketing that they
I
do.
do too.
It's so smart and so much fun. Um, it's just like that's just horrible. That's a so
I'm sorry. You
horrible
you are
thing,
so
but
correct. That's like changed everybody's perception
it
of being
did.
behind a logging truck. Nobody wants to be behind a logging
Every
truck.
time you get behind a logging truck, you're like, nope, I'm going around.
Hmm.
So yeah, no, it has
My
definitely
God.
changed the entire like you can't like nobody I know like has ever like since that movie. You don't even have to have watched that movie. You just know that scene, and everybody's just like, yeah, no, I got to get around this truck. So, but yeah, no.
100%, 100% correct.
So let's go ahead and start off. When did you see this movie? And do you what are your feelings about it in general?
So I did not go see, I don't think I've ever seen any. Oh, my voice is going again. Hold on a second.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. I don't know whether I'm catching a cold or what, but I don't remember ever going to see any Final Destination movie in the theaters. I just never did. So I know I watched this probably on DVD or something, and I was invested. When I first saw the first Destination movie, I thought, okay, well, this is it. We don't need any more. But it was too big to not be a
Yeah.
franchise. Um, I love this one. This up until Bloodlines, I think this might be my favorite one, just
Mm,
because we have a better cast of victims. Um, the setup for the premonition scene and what happens, like you mentioned, the car, everybody's seeing car wrecks. That's like a terrifying thing
yeah.
to me. Even though it's scary to me, it's one of my favorite premonition opening scenes. Um, yeah, this one I did not expect to have all of these really great horror emotions attached to this film. We get a female protagonist, we get to see all of these various people who do the most stupid things, and it's just one of my favorites. I can't make sense of why this one is, but a big part of it is just knowing everybody's gonna die. And then we get kind of a reveal as to what Death's design is in this one, which
Hmm.
was unusual for a sequel already for them to do something and retcon it and be like, "Oh, this is what we're doing." And I was like, "Holy shit, this is brilliant." You
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
I don't wanna get too far ahead of myself because I know we're gonna get to that, but
yeah, yeah.
that was an interesting factor to me that, these people that we're gonna see are indirectly connected to the people we saw in the previous movie.
Right. Yeah, I thought it was a nice, interesting twist, that there was some connection in this. But yeah, I think the this opening sequence is I think that what makes a lot of these death sequences interesting too is that they really upped the game on the kind
Mhm.
of the Rube Goldberg-esque nature
Yes.
of these, where it's like one thing, then another thing, then another thing, and then you're always like, okay, well, so that's the thing that's going to kill him. Oh no, that's not.
That's
What's
not
the
it.
and so I love that, like, that whole twist on it, because in the first one they were pretty straightforward. Things just happened.
Right.
And sometimes they played with it a little bit, but in this one they really played with you, and it became a hallmark of the series going forward, was that whatever you thought was going to happen wasn't necessarily what was going to happen. They just kept putting red herring after red herring after red
After red
herring,
herring in front of you,
and then
exactly.
and then like then it was the thing. But here's the thing: they would telegraph things sometimes as well, and we'll get into that in a minute. Especially with the first like major death
Mhm.
sequence. But yeah, the whole car crash sequence, it's brutal. Like, it's just that's what makes the franchise real fun too, is because it's an R-rated franchise. They're not squeamish about it. They really like they obliterate these people,
Mhm.
and it is bad. And I think that's it's interesting too. It's like, yes, the car crash would have been bad, but like these when you mess with Death's design, he's gonna come back more brutal at you. Um, but yeah,
Yeah, it's like
it's
even if you had died in the car crash, that would have been it. No, we're gonna make it more horrific now that you've, like, staved it off for a couple of
yeah.
days. We're gonna really give it to you now. Um, the other thing, and this is purely from a Black person's perspective, I was happy to see that we have a Black survivor in this movie for a
Yes.
half a minute. Um, and I really like the actor, TC Carson, because he was the voice of Kratos in, God of War.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and so him coming in as a Black person with this perspective of, "Yeah, right, that's not coming," it's like,
Yeah, yeah.
that's probably how any normal person would react, like, "What are you talking about? Death is coming for me,
Yeah,
whatever."
yeah.
Um, and I like the fact that he's the voice of, "Yeah, I don't believe this shit," until it starts getting weird, and then he's like, "Okay, I believe this shit."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We also get a legacy character also in the second film, which is
Hmm.
kind of unheard of. Usually, you don't see legacy or original characters till, like, 3 or 4 movies down. Um, this was interesting that we brought someone back from the first film to kinda guide
Well,
us a little bit.
I think it's the only time too, because they started in on a focus of, even if they managed to survive most of the movie, uh the final person is, like, no real big spoilers here, but they don't always survive the end of the movie.
No.
And so it is it is interesting to get somebody, so to get something, but that is the interesting bit about it too, is that it's not the person you thought it would be either. You
Mm-mm.
know, you thought it was going to be Devon Sawa, and then it ends up being Ali Larter's character. So, and then you get just this like quick blurb, like this quick scene earlier that Devon Sawa's character from the first one died from having a brick fall on his head. So very unceremoniously killed off screen. So um uh kind of, I don't know. Going back to what you were saying about having not seen any of these in theaters, I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I didn't see the first three in theaters. I'm
Right.
pretty sure these were all video watches, but I know 4, 5, and 6 I've seen in the theaters after that. So which is weird. I don't know why all of a sudden I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna go see all these in the theater. But I've
Oh,
always loved these movies. Like you, since the first one, I was invested. And so every time they come out with a new one, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna see that. And so, but yeah, no, I definitely did not. I don't remember having seen any of them until four. In the theaters, which of course, why four was the one? I guess because I like, you didn't know going into number four that number four was going to be the worst, and I'm going to get into that in that episode with my guest. Um, but um, but yeah, it's I just generally love these movies.
hmm.
They are um they're just wild because it's like, it's something you can't defeat. Death is gonna get you. Um, that's the one constant of humanity. That's the one guarantee we have in life, is that we're all gonna die.
Yeah, we're all gonna
Um,
die, but
and so, you know,
to see these characters go through all of this, and once they, especially Kimberly is the protagonist that we have in this one, and
yes,
once she realizes this is happening, I think I feel the most for her. I didn't really feel so much for Devon Sawa. I mean, he was a teenager, and but for
yeah,
some reason I feel really bad for Kimberly because it's like she doesn't know that she just prolonged these people dying in horrific ways, and she's trying to
yeah.
process it herself. Um, I don't know. There's just something about this one. Like I said, and like you mentioned, the Rube Goldberg death traps. I always think of Mousetrap, like when you used to play that game when you were a kid. It's like,
Yeah, yeah.
how are they gonna get got? And then when they do, it's like the dumbest fucking things. Like, why? Some of these things are so preventable, but I mean,
Hmm.
once again, it's not. It's gonna get you. But like
Yeah.
the very first guy we see, who's like we get various different people from different walks of life, right? We got the mom and her son, and we've got the lottery winner. He won the lottery, and then he dies in the way that he dies, and I'm just like,
So
huh?
it's so funny too, because you're like, so he wins the lottery, right? And I get it. It's only been like a couple of days since he won the lottery, but he's coming up into his apartment, and
He's
it's
still living in this shitty apartment.
living in the shittiest part. I'm sorry, but I would have immediately moved into, until I can get a brand new house, I
A
would have
hotel,
immediately
right?
moved into a fancy ass hotel.
Or at least rent a
Because
condo or
or
something. I would not
something,
stay in a
yeah.
place where it looks like somebody would just kick open my door and murder me in
It
my
looked
sleep.
like, yeah, it looks
It's
so
like crack
bad.
stab 'em alley. I don't wanna
And then
live
he's
there.
bringing all this expensive shit in. He's bringing this iMac computer and all this expensive shit into his apartment, and the door looks like it's about to fall off the
That's what I'm
hinges at any
saying.
moment. It's just ridiculous. So
And
I'm
then
not
for him
surprised
to
that the place goes up in flames.
Yeah, like you're cooking fish sticks. Sir, you just won the fucking lottery. Go
Yeah,
to a
fish
nice
sticks,
place to
fish
stay.
sticks, and like day old
Chinese
like
food.
Chinese food, and he's like, he throws his pan of spaghetti out the window. Like, dude, you're like, what the hell? Do you
I
not
don't
have
I
a
don't know.
garbage can?
I don't know, man.
It was
In
the
that
weirdest
case,
thing.
death was just like, "Oh, this is easy.
Yeah,
This guy is dumb
no,
as hell."
it so was. Well, this is what I want to talk about too, because this is a great sequence, and two, this one is telegraphed. This is the
Oh
one
yeah.
of the ones that's actually telegraphed. There's a moment where his Chinese food is sitting on the counter, and he's got the letter, the child letter magnets on the refrigerator,
The
and
fridge, yeah.
one of them falls into his Chinese food, which sets up
It's
the
what
whole
caused the
fire
sparks in
aspect.
the microwave, yeah.
So then, but when it falls, it creates the word I
I.
on his refrigerator. And it's so blatant too. It's so blatant. You're just like, oh, okay. Um, and I think it's only obvious upon retrospect after you've seen it, at least once.
Mhm.
But yeah. But yeah, with the fire and everything like that, it's so funny too because like he's sitting there admiring his watch, this brand new gold watch he's got, and then he's got this gold ring. And then the sparks start happening in the microwave. He's got his
Drops the
fish
ring.
sticks cooking on the thing, which he over oiled, so now it's got this oil fire going. He drops the ring in, has to grab it out of the, like, I'm sorry, I'm rich now. I'm
Fuck
not
that ring.
fishing my fucking hand into a garbage disposal to get a ring. At the very least, I'm taking the goddamn, I'm gonna get a wrench and undo it from the bottom.
That's what I'm
I don't
saying. Like, dude, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Like
So he
what
gets his
is
hand
this?
stuck in there because of the watch now. So now he can't get his hand out. The fire starts in like huge. He's trying to set it, like get it out and everything like that. It's so terrible. And so you think, okay, he's gonna die in this fire. Or at first you think he's gonna get his hand chopped off in
Right,
the
yeah,
thing.
exactly.
Then you think he's gonna die in this fire. He gets his hand free, and then he goes to do the fire extinguisher, which peters out after just a couple of seconds. And it's like, okay, so he is going to die in this fire. Because then he tries to go out the windows. Both of the windows close magically on their own. Um, and then he finally, like, he's like, okay, well, fuck this. I'm going to, like, use a chair to break the window open. Smart, thankfully. Um, he gets out onto
I don't
the,
know. You're letting a
yeah,
lot of oxygen in for that fire,
true,
but
true, true.
whatever.
Then he gets out on the fire escape, manages to just get below the window area before it explodes out at him. So again, multiple times that this stuff could have killed him. He gets down, he tries to get down onto the ground, almost falls from
Off the fire escape
the fire escape, manages to be fine, then slips on his goddamn spaghetti that he
that
threw
he
out the
threw out the fucking
window,
window because he was
lands
gross.
on the ground, and he's like, "Oh God, phew!" And then the ladder comes down finally and impales him in the eye.
And we have like 15 steps to get to this guy.
I know, and I loved it
I
because it's
did
just like
too.
you're like, okay, what is going to kill this guy? Something's going to kill this guy, and I love that it's the thing you expect the least because you're just like, okay, yeah. Why would this be the thing that kills him out of all the other things that were going to kill him in his house? But I think that's what's great about this series is that it's always about, they try to like get around the one thing or the other, one or two things that are trying to kill them and they get away from it and it's always something else.
Hmm.
That it's just this one sequence kind of sets up the whole entire rest of the series, the franchise
That's
and stuff.
typically the best part of it for me. We've
Yeah.
already stated, the red herring, the misdirection, and then it's the
Yeah.
thing that you don't suspect to happen. Um, and this one is filled with such great ones. Like I think up until Bloodlines, I think these were my favorite kills in this one alone. Um,
Number 5 has possibly my favorite kill.
is it the
Um,
gymnast?
I don't want to say anything, but yes.
That's one that kills me every
I've
time.
previous I previously got to talk about number 5 on the podcast Fishnets and Philosophies. And so I was excited because I was like, "Ooh, I get to talk number 5." Because number 5 is a whole I like number 5.
I do too.
It's a
Oh
great
my
movie.
God.
And I'm not going to spoil anything in that, but there's a gymnast sequence in it that I will
I'll
get
just,
to when I
yeah, I
talk to
just,
somebody in this about that episode. But yeah, it's great. It's one of my favorite kills in the whole series.
some of
So
these kills, you're just like, you people have, what kind of organs do you have in your body? Case in point, where, the mom and the son and the way that Tim dies. I could not stop laughing at this kid's demise by a pane of
well,
glass.
this one is a whole series of things too, because he's going to the dentist, um, and um, he's got there's these birds that keep hitting the window, and so previous to that, you find out that the main character I can't remember her name now. Um,
Kimberly?
Kimberly. She's seen the premonitions like Devon Sawa's character did in the first one. And so she sees this these pigeons flying around her. And so she knows that the next ones who are supposed to die are this mom and her son.
Well,
Just
let me stop you for a second.
yeah,
That's interesting that she does have that vision about the pigeons, but she didn't have one about the first guy.
yeah, yeah.
That's weird.
Maybe it's just because it happened so fast, like she didn't have time to get the
I
visions.
guess. But yeah, go ahead. Back
I'm
to your
not
point,
certain.
the
Yeah.
pigeons.
But yeah, so she's got this thing about the pigeons, and so you see them go to this dentist office. He's got to have something done with his teeth. And so these pigeons keep hitting the windows.
Yeah, they're
Um,
doing like construction or
they're doing
something in the same
construction.
area. But
Yeah.
we get the whole misdirection. Like we see the fish tank has a leak and it's right by the electrical outlet
Right.
where his mom is sitting.
Right.
They go to do the dental work, and like you said, the pigeons keep hitting the window, so the guy decides to give him gas, and
Yeah,
then a
because
bird
every time the
breaks in,
pigeon hits the window, it like
makes him
it
flinch, and he's got
it
a
makes
needle
him
in his
flinch.
hand.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Do you want the gas?" And Tim's like, "Yeah, sure." He
So it
gives
gives
him
him
the
the gas.
gas.
Yeah.
The bird breaks in through the window where the waiting room is, and this kid is gonna die. Like, what is it? One
Yeah.
of the little things on the ceiling falls in
So the
his
guy's
mouth.
got a freaking mobile above the patients of like I guess fit like different kinds of fish. This guy's obsessed with fish. What is with dentists and fish?
I
Like this
don't
guy
know.
and the guy in Finding Nemo.
Finding Nemo?
Um, it was weird fish doc dentist
Fish
things.
fetish.
Yeah. So anyway, so he's got this weird mobile of like plastic fish, like above the patients. I get it. You giving the patients something to look at,
If they're
but it,
kids, I guess that's something for them to look at,
yeah,
but still, it's
yeah.
like
And you
highly
have to.
dangerous.
So Tim is supposed to be a 15-year-old. So that put that there for a second. Um, so he's a 15-year-old kid. He's getting this dentist procedure, and then so yeah, stupid mobile. One of them drops into his gaping open mouth, and he can't do anything because he's like
He's
partially
gassed.
he because the doctor even said you're going to be awake, but you won't be able to move. And so he's literally like dying because there's this freaking thing lodged in his throat now. While they're all trying to get this bird out of the office, and nobody's aware. And then so you think he's going to die from that, and then go ahead. I interrupted.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say, you think that's what's gonna happen because I mean, his vision is getting narrow, and you can tell that he's about to run out of breath. And the dentist assistant comes in, removes the little fish mobile thing from his mouth,
Yeah,
and then kind of plays it off like, "Oh, okay, hopefully he won't remember this." And
right.
as as they're leaving, which I have to interject, there's one part where this kid is so funny. He goes and he says, "If I come out of here and my pants are undone, we ain't paying." And I couldn't stop laughing at it because that's exactly what my youngest would say. He would definitely be the one to say that in
And I
front of
love
the
that the
dentist.
mom is like shocked, but also not shocked
That's
about
me
what her son was
100%.
saying. Yeah.
If I come out and I'm untucked, we ain't paying. But he goes outside, and Kimberly, and I can't remember the sheriff's, the little deputy guy that's with her.
Yeah.
They try to warn them about
They're
the
like the
pigeons.
pigeons are yelling
And
at them about
this
the pigeons.
kid, Tim, goes out there and startles the pigeons, which sets off the chain reaction of the construction people who were doing the work to
Yeah.
unload a pane of glass on this kid. Now, I will be honest with you. When I saw this scene, I could not stop. I literally guffawed so loud. I was like, Jesus Christ, did he not have bones? What is going on here? I know a pane of glass is heavy. I know it. But he just got flattened like a pancake.
Oh
And then
man, the kid liquefies.
what makes the scene even more hilarious, Robert, is when they show the body bag and it's just this flat bag of goo. And I'm
Yeah.
like, how did they even get this kid up? Did they like scoop him up? I mean,
I
what?
know. They shovel him into it. Like,
I feel horrible
yeah.
for his mom. I do. But oh my God, that is the most hilarious thing I've ever seen in my life. Just
Yeah.
crumples like a paper towel. I've never seen that. And that was probably
Oh,
the
it was.
highlight of that movie for me up until we got into the later deaths. But
Yeah.
at this point, she's like, okay, I got to figure out what the hell is going on. And I think what she ends up talking to, is it Clear? Is that when she decides to?
Yeah, I think after that they decide to talk to Clear, um, and go figure something out. And Clear's like, I'm not going to help you. You guys are on your own. Like, I've already lost everybody I knew.
She was like, "There's no white
And
lady
I'm,
solidarity. I'm not helping you. I'm
yeah.
staying in the nut wars."
And that's the thing. She's inside this hospital, like, in a padded room with nothing absolutely that could kill her. Um, and yeah, it's a funny sequence just because you're just like, okay, Clear, I get it. After you've seen all that and been through all that and barely avoided it yourself, you're like, I'm not going out there to go get killed again. Like, I'll die of natural causes, like, of old age or whatever like that, but I'm not dying from like, something random out and,
I call bullshit on that though, because if she's in that padded room, they got to give her food and stuff to drink. Death would just make her choke to
right.
death if that was you know what I mean?
Exactly.
I
I mean,
call
hell,
bullshit.
we choke on our own spit and think we're about to die.
We think we're gonna die.
I can't tell you how many times I've done that just in the last week where I'm
Jeez.
just like,
Is
you know,
this gonna be it?
I know. Like literally, I'm gonna just die choking onto my own spit. But yeah, it's just yeah, it's ridiculous. Um, but eventually, Clear decides to come and help them. Um, I think that's after the like. Actually, I think the Clear thing happens like
Before she
Clear
saw.
before she saw them and before she went to go help them, and
Yeah,
Clear
because she was
comes
telling her
out
to look for
afterward.
omens. That may
Yeah,
be why she didn't see one before
could
for
be.
the
Yeah,
millionaire winner or whatever.
yeah,
Because she did tell her, yeah, you're gonna have to look out for omens and watch out for signs and all of the stuff. Which makes me wonder
exactly.
why what's his name? Why Alex didn't see that brick coming. I'm sorry. Just the thought
Right.
that they just had to kill him in that fashion is just ridiculous
Yeah.
to me. But
And for that, I will say, and I mentioned it in the previous episode, is that at that time Devon Sawa had was having a lot of troubles with drugs and alcohol. Um
oh,
and so that was during that period where he kind of went downhill for a bit and then he actually left Hollywood and um came back like 5 years later, I guess came from 2004 to 2009. He like left Hollywood,
yeah.
went back up to Canada, got clean, and then came back. Um, so there was a time like during the whole the original Final
Oh,
Destination, and then afterward that he'd gotten really bad with the party and stuff like that. This is stuff he's admitted to and um and talked about in length, especially most recently because he was on the Chucky TV series.
right.
Um, and he was just talking about his new lease on life and getting back to what he wanted to do
Well,
and
that's really good
all
that he
that,
knew
which is
to take
great.
a step back and get himself realigned.
Yeah,
And yeah,
yeah. I think his agents or somebody told him like get out of here,
yeah.
go get cleaned up,
Well, that
and
was a
so
good move on their
yeah,
part. I
it
mean,
was,
really.
because he's definitely come back, and I think he's definitely re-embraced horror in a big way. He's like it's interesting to see that too because like um it's just for me it's again this goes back to something I've said before about like I love the people who embrace horror,
Hmm.
and embrace anything that they're passionate about or whatever like that. But I think when people really embrace horror and really champion it and do a lot of stuff in it because they love the genre, it just I don't know, it just means a lot.
It
So
makes it makes the movies a lot more fun too, because you know that
yeah.
this is something that they're not. Back in the day, it was like a bad thing if you were in a horror movie. That's like the end
Yeah.
of your career, and now it's like, okay, that's the best thing you can do. And you're right. It really him coming back now. I don't know if you've seen Black Friday, that movie that came out.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites. Seeing him in Hard Eyes was like the most exciting thing. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, I can't believe he's in this movie. So, you know, um, I really do
No, he's
love
great
him
in
for that.
Chuck in the Chucky TV
I
series
still
too.
haven't. I got to get on that.
Oh yeah. Well, and it's fun too because it's not a spoiler or anything like that. But every season he plays a different character.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah. So even though like nobody like really everybody else stays the same, he changes to a different character every season, and it's great because you're just like, oh, which character are they going to bring him in now? So it's a lot of fun. So, um, but yeah, that sequence with the kid, and like that's something that's so funny too because they're like, what kid? Like he's an older kid. Why would he be chasing? Because he was 15. Like
It's
I'm
kind
so
of what I've
he
read
was still a
from
kid.
this. Yeah, from what I've read in the script though, they actually wanted him to be a younger kid because if you think about
Yeah,
his bedroom, it looks like, a 10 or a 9-year-old, but I guess they didn't want to kill a kid that
yeah.
small, so they made him a little older.
Well,
Um,
yeah, and it's so funny too because there are certain things he says and does in this movie where you're just like, that seems very weirdly out of age
right.
for him, but there's other things like the whole comment about having his pants undone thing. Like they obviously tried to age him up a little bit in the script, but then there's other things that they didn't do, and it's like it's so weird and bizarre.
Right.
So
So now that we had this horrible death, which I to this day love, um,
yeah,
like you said, Clear's come out to help, and of course, who does she go to but Tony Todd, Mr. Bloodworth, to get a
yes,
little bit more exposition for us because this is now new territory that we're dealing with Clear still being alive, and now these particular victims that are in the death's path. Um, every time I saw Tony Todd give his exposition about death, I was always praying that they would make him the Grim Reaper. Like I
well,
was
and that
always
was the thing too, was like that's what everybody always suspected was that he was really deaf. He was just like, giving the information, but then was like, trying to, help them along, but at the same time was just moving them more into his path.
right,
Um, and because the way he gave all this exposition was sinister as hell anyway. It's like, yeah, he's giving them information, but like one, it never really helped them, and two, um the way he always did it, he's just the creepiest motherfucker ever.
this is true though. I mean, it's almost like he was getting so much glee out of these people having to figure their way out of what was eventually going to happen anyway.
Like, I know it's a business opportunity for him, but still,
He really did take a lot of joy and pleasure
he
in
really
telling these
loved his
people
work.
that. I mean, if they want a new black person to tell white people they're gonna die, I will gladly be that person. I mean, I'm just saying, I would
That's too
gladly be
funny.
Bloodworth's niece and just tell you, bitch, you gonna die.
I'm
Just
really
you just
hoping
deal with it.
I'm really hoping they get somebody like because this is the last time we see him until 5. Like he's not in 3 or
Right.
4. He is in 5 and 6.
He's only a
Um,
voice in 3, which I
he's
didn't care for
yeah,
that.
yeah, and he's like, and it's not him as the character's
Mm-mm.
voice. It's as like this animatronic,
Right.
um, which is great. It's still fine. It's whatever. But I would like to see them bring somebody new in that they can like go to that's similar to him. That would be great if they could find somebody,
Yeah, that would be really
in
nice.
future things. If I mean, don't do it the same way. Have it be somebody different. Um, do it in a different way, but like,
Right.
somebody that can continue on that tradition in a way. And it'd be great
But
if it was somebody from like the of horror royalty in that way too. Somebody, wouldn't say Kane Hodder, but somebody in that kind of vein of that. Hell, fucking Robert England would be great for that.
oh, that would be
So,
really good.
you know. So that'd be
Yeah,
a good one.
hopefully they will have somebody that can carry that
Yeah.
torch because you do need
Or
that
even like you
one.
said, a woman, like, hell, Felissa Rose or somebody like that, Barbara
Yeah.
Crampton, you know, somebody great like that would be good. So
So,
sorry.
no, no, you're fine. I mean, I was thinking that myself when I saw Bloodlines. But so he basically gives him what, the 411 that only new life can defeat death or something like that.
Yes. Yeah.
So somebody's got to die or die and come back. But they're thinking,
Well, they think, yeah, that it's the woman who was pregnant and that, the because she was supposed to die in the crash and the baby was supposed to die, that
right.
if the baby is born, then that will negate the rest of it. Which is a weird, like, again, at one new life for all their deaths, like death is really going to go, okay, I'll take that deal. Um, So yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
They always think that there's a loophole. That's the thing that kills me.
They
It's like,
do.
you think there's a loophole with death. It's just death. There's no
Yeah.
fucking loophole, dude. You
Yeah.
know, you might stave it off for a couple of years, but you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Um, but
So they all
since we're
meet up.
oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh no, no. Go ahead. What were you gonna
No,
say?
no, no. I was just gonna say this one, not to. I mean, we always give you always give spoilers anyway, so I'll just say
Yeah, yeah.
spoiler alert. This might be the only one that we actually have someone who does survive, right?
Yeah. Two of them survive. Because I yeah, two of them survive at the end. Um and so um and we never see them again.
So
So
that makes me curious if they.
presumably that they
Oh, go ahead.
survived totally. Yeah.
Yeah,
It'd
so
be
that
it'd be
makes
kind of cool to get them back, for a sequel or something like
right,
that.
like just bringing some other legacy kids. This is normally the formula. You have a legacy
Yeah.
character and like somebody like say Kirby, and we didn't see her in
Yeah.
Scream 4, we didn't see her die, and then we see her later on showing up in the other movies. Kimberly would be a good person to bring back. I mean,
Yeah.
unfortunately, if they did, she'd probably die, but it
Yeah,
would be
yeah,
nice to see her.
yeah.
Maybe the sheriff too. He was so kind of milquetoast. I didn't even really care about him. I
Yeah, yeah,
don't
yeah,
really have a
exactly.
thing about him at all. But you were getting ready to say that they get everybody together.
Yeah, the cop gets everybody together at his place and is just like, "Hey, we all need to meet and we all need to like talk about this and figure out what we're doing." So they all meet up at his place and the black guy he's still just like, "Dude, like this is just so dumb." And is just done with it.
He's just so
Um
sassy about it. He's like, whatever, I'm not gonna die. This isn't
yeah.
this isn't my problem.
And then the mom is there and she's like her son's like just died like earlier that day, but yet she's still there. um and just everybody's there and they're trying to tell him, look, this is what's going to happen, you need to be aware of signs and premonitions, and it's not just her that can see them, any of you could potentially see these too. Just keep your eyes out for anything like this. And then so of the black guy Eugene, he's just like, I'm done. This is so dumb. I'm out of here. And meanwhile, the mom has already left because she just can't handle it. She's overwhelmed. And so he like the cop is like, look, I know you don't care, but give this phone to her and blah blah blah. So Eugene and the mom, they go to get in the elevator. So they get in this elevator with this creepy dude, the creepy old dude with a box full of prosthetic
Hooks.
hands and hooks. And then the party dude, I don't know what his name is. I had just had everybody's names, but I don't remember everybody's name. Rory. Rory, he's um he sees a the shadow or something like that of something in the apartment and is like a guy with hooks, like hook hands. And so they try to call them in the elevator, but of course the elevator's got a bad signal, and this was 2003 and cell phones were shit anyway.
This
um
is true.
um I mean, the cell phones themselves were bricks. They could survive anything. Like our phones now fall and
Hmm.
like shatter. But back then they were made of hard plastic and they would bounce, and the battery might come off, but you put it
But
back
your
and you'd be
phone would
good.
still be intact. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then so they try to call them and tell them, hey, stay away from a guy with hook hands. And so they despite the signal being bad, they finally figured out. And so the mom, she tries to get off the elevator, but one of the hooks in the thing grabs her hair
Which freaks
and
her out.
freaks her out. She's trying to get off the elevator. The elevator door closes on her head, and the elevator starts moving. Now, earlier in the movie, they had established that the elevator just likes to close, and then in a normal elevator, you can bump it, and the elevator doors will open again like that because they'll recognize that something's in the way. This one was malfunctioning, so of course that's what happens. they try to get her out. A couple of the other girls race down to like yank her out of the elevator, but her hair is caught on the hooks, and they're trying to get her head out, and it doesn't happen. She gets decapitated. So this one wasn't as like crazy in terms of Rube Goldbergness, um, but it was still a great sequence. Just because you're just like that. That is more of a real fear, I think,
Mm-hmm.
that people have, and
I
that's what
think
I think
so.
is really good too. Also about these is that sometimes they're not super ornate, but like almost every one of these kills is like it like taps into a fear, like just a fear of unusual death like that, and so um it's just yeah, it was crazy. um and then Eugene is just like, okay, get me out of this elevator, and I finally understand I'm on board. um and so they all get into what, like, they find, I think they talk about how they need to get the, I don't remember when they see the lake thing or whatever in the van or whatever. There's it was complicated. I literally just watched this last night too, so I'm always foggy on things.
I do
But
think it may have been on the way to meet everybody at the
yeah,
sheriff's house, and she was having this vision while she was driving of
yeah, it could
driving
be.
into the lake and choking on the water and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, but at this point, like you said, Eugene's on board. Everybody's, wanting to get this woman who's gonna have this baby. And I think, don't they find out that she's on her way to the hospital to give birth?
No, they are on the way to go get her from. They find out that she's in protective custody,
Oh,
but they
that's
don't
right.
know that she's going to give birth. Now she and the guy who's watching her are now on the way to the hospital at the same time.
Right.
And so then they almost hit each other on the road, and then the big group of people end up going off the road and almost get in an accident.
But
Um,
before that, that's when they come up to the realization that they're connected to the survivors of Flight
Right.
180,
Yes. Yeah. So
which
on
was
the way
so
there,
awesome.
yeah. Yes, I love that. Like each one of them recounts a story about how they almost died the year previous, um, but because of one thing or another, they ended up not dying. And those one thing or another's were connected to the deaths of each of the original people. Like Eugene became a teacher because, or like took a position, um, because Val Luton's character died. The Val Luton character died, the teacher in the first movie.
Hmm.
The police officer was called out to the scene of the train accident that killed Sean
Billy
William Scott's
Hitchcock.
character, yeah, from the
Yeah.
first movie. Um, and otherwise, he would have been involved in a shootout that killed his partner.
Hmm.
And so, and then everybody else had similar things. The one woman that smokes and is kind of bitchy the whole time. She what was her name? Kat
Cat.
Jennings.
Yeah.
She was on the bus that killed Terry, the
Right. And they
character
were on their
Terry
way
from the
to a
first.
breakfast, like a bed and breakfast, that people died because there was a gas leak, but she never made it because of the
Yeah,
accident with Terry.
yeah,
So yeah, each of them had some kind of connection with the original victims of Flight 180. Um,
right.
and the way that Clear was figuring it out is that death was working backwards because it had rippled out. It was working its way backwards. So now
Yeah,
all these people were dying in the order, in reverse order, as opposed to the way that
the
they
reverse
actually did
order
die.
in the premonition from earlier rather than,
Right.
yeah. Um, so yeah, so it's definitely again a neat little twist to the what the established lore, and they continue to do this in each subsequent one too. Like I think in three, we'll get to it in the next episode, but in three, it's like there's pictures, and then in
Mm-hmm.
four there's something else, and then in five there's something else. So each time there's like little different variations in what death's design is and what
Mm-hmm.
the whole pattern is and everything like that, which I think is great because it keeps it fresh and new without getting too stale. You're still getting the same basic story: death is after them, all these different crazy deaths, but how are they going to stop it? And so I think
Exactly.
that's what's great and fun about it is just we get these different variations on that. And in this one it was, going backwards. Um and so but yeah, so they get into a crash, and in this crash, uh the cat almost gets impaled by a pole, but then Eugene does get hurt in the crash.
Hmm.
They manage to get him out and get him to the hospital. Um, Meanwhile, the news has showed up and all this other stuff. And starts off this whole chain reaction of events, um, where multiple people get killed during this sequence. Um, so so I think what ends up happening first is um so that everybody else can get out of the car except for Kat. She can't get out because there's like a big tree branch, like, or big pole, like lodged in over her
Right. So
leg.
she can't get her legs out.
She
She's
can't get
pinned
her.
in.
Yeah, and so they bring the rescue people get there, and they use the jaws of life to get her out. And when they hit it once, it um sets off the airbag and pushes her head into the plastic pipe that was behind her and just kills her instantly. Great sequence. Meanwhile, she was smoking a cigarette. The cigarette lands into a drain pipe or something nearby, which gas had flowed into from when the news truck got there, and it
Right.
backed over something and was now leaking gas into this pipe. It's a huge thing. So then it lights it on fire, blows up the van, um, and knocks this fence line um, across the way, like this razor wire that ends up cutting Rory to bits. Um,
That poor guy, because like just moments before he'd given Kimberly his keys and
yeah,
said, "Yeah, since I'm gonna be next, could you get rid of all of the stuff that might make my mom sad in my
like
apartment?"
my
I
drugs and my
felt so
porn and
bad.
everything. Yeah. um, and he had previously saved the farm kid or something like that from getting hit by a car,
Oh,
which will
right.
come
I
into play
forgot about
later.
that.
So the kid was about to get hit by a car moving way too fast in this area. Um, and he what was I gonna say? Um,
He yanked him out of the way before he could
he
get hit.
yanked,
I know that, yeah.
yeah, yeah, and so those two die, and that's pretty much everybody except for um,
Eugene, I think, who's at the hospital.
yeah, Eugene is at the hospital, and Isabella, who's also at the hospital. They've the police officer gets her there to have the baby, but now Kimberly's seen a premonition of somebody, what looks like a doctor choking um, somebody, and so she assumes it's the doctor choking Isabella. And like, why would the doctor be trying to choke Isabella anyway? Like, it just seems so random and weird. So they go racing to the hospital. They get there just in time to uh, see them give Isabella give birth, and Isabella's like, "Who are these people?" Because she
Yeah, who the
hasn't
hell
been
are
part of
they?
this at all. She wasn't part of the group or anything like that. Um, and then uh, so they think they're saved. They think everything's good. The baby's been born. They think they're safe and everything. Allie Larder, meanwhile, clear. She goes to go look for Eugene to go tell him the good news, and she goes into his room and sees that he's literally being like suffocated to death, and that all of a sudden there's this huge chain reaction that blows up in her face, literally kills Clear, blowing her out of the room and killing her instantly.
And that's the end of our
Um,
legacy character.
that's the end of our legacy character. Meanwhile, Kimberly realizes that the vision that she's seen of like a van in the lake, and that of the person getting choked and everything like that wasn't somebody getting choked. It was somebody getting CPR. And she realizes she's got to die and then be saved. That's the new life that's got to be redone. Basically, you have to
Hmm.
die and be reborn, like come back to life, to stop death from coming after you. You basically give death what he wants, and then come back.
And then come back.
Um, and then so she races, get into this van, like this ambulance, drives it out into the lake, drowns, but is saved by the cop and brought back to life. And that's where it ends. Things are better. They've beaten death. Um, Somehow the cop avoided all that. I don't remember. Did the cop die in the original? I thought he died in the original sequence too. Maybe he didn't.
He did. He was the one with the logs.
Oh,
So
right.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. He's the
Yeah,
first one to die. Yeah. So yeah, that makes sense though, because then he would have been the last one. So she
exactly.
interrupts the sequence, and so he never was in like any real danger ever. And so you see them. They apparently at the end they get invited to this picnic by the people. I don't know why, but the people whose like farm or whatever it was that multiple people had died from. So the boy who got saved by Rory was there also, and so they're all having this nice dinner, and the mom's like, hey, why don't you go turn off the barbecue? And he goes over to go turn off the barbecue, and he explodes and kills him, because he got saved from death. And so yeah, he was next on that list. But that's where it literally ends at that point. There's nothing else after that. But it's just like, so we do have two potential legacy characters, Kimberly and the police officer, who could show up in a future episode, in a future sequence. They never have. The woman who plays Kimberly, AJ Cook, she's been on Criminal Minds. She's one of
Hmm.
the main characters from Criminal Minds, which was funny too because I was showing Katrina the trailers, and she's like, "Wait, I know that woman." Um,
Yeah, she had blonde hair on Criminal
yeah,
Minds.
she has blonde hair on Criminal Minds. So so it was pretty funny. But yeah, I like this one. It has a lot of fun, good death sequences. It definitely set up a lot of stuff. It's got some of the more memorable death sequences,
Hmm.
and definitely, like I said before, it gives us our huge existential fear of logging trucks now. So
Well, do you know what the original concept for this movie was supposed to be?
no.
It was supposed to be set in New York City a year after Flight 180, and it was supposed to be in the Twin
Oh.
Towers.
Oh. Oh, that was yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting.
so they had to change it, obviously. Um, I think they said it was like a group of Twin Towers workers trying to avoid death at work, which, we weren't going to get that. Interesting,
Yeah.
but I'm glad that they went the car route, the pile up, because
Yeah.
once again, that is really, you live in an area where there's a lot of bad traffic, so I can only imagine what
Yeah.
kind of pileups you see. Um, but yeah, that would have been interesting had 9/11 not happened, I guess. Um,
Yeah.
but this one is definitely one of my favorites. I love the fact that we get a final girl who is just plucky enough and lucky enough, obviously. Just lucky enough to hang in there. I feel like it would be nice to bring her back like they brought Clear back, especially
Right.
now that we have Bloodlines has, definitely put it back on everybody's radar, how fun these deaths can be. I mean, that's a horrible sentence to say, but it's true. I mean, we always
Yeah.
wait to see what the payoff is, and it's interesting how inventive they can be with every film. It gets more and more intricate and really weird. Um, I can't wait to hear you talk about the rest of these films because I do love this franchise, probably almost as much as I love the Scream franchise, and I probably
Yeah.
shouldn't,
Yeah.
but I do.
Yeah. No, and I would say probably the same. Like this franchise is very high up there with me. It's one I love a lot. And despite number four being terrible, like it overall consistency has been fairly good.
Hmm.
Um, at least with number four, it's just been like, yeah, that's the one outlier. And there's still, even then, there's some good stuff in that one as well.
Yeah.
Um, so it should be pretty fun though.
What I
Um,
also think is funny about this one is I think up until maybe Bloodlines, this might be the only Final Destination film that didn't have a memorial service for the people who died. Like how
mm,
the first one, like each of them have some kind of funeral service or memorial.
yeah.
They did none of that
Well,
in this one.
yeah. Well, and it's funny too because Kimberly's friends all die at the beginning, like the
Yeah,
friends that she's going
you
on
would think that
vacation
they
with.
would have a
Yeah.
funeral for the friends at least.
It was probably just because it was so high intensity, like that they just didn't have time. It felt like, at least with the first movie, there was some time before
Mhm.
death really started coming after them. And so this one, death was like, yeah, they've already had enough time. So I didn't get them the first time. Now I'm
Mhm.
gonna get them now.
It's like, "I'm
So
on a schedule. I got a lot of people to catch up to. We gotta go. Let's
right,
move this train along."
exactly.
Oh my gosh.
So
They did do another cute thing in here too. With the first one, we had oh gosh, what is his name? John Denver's Rocky Mountain High,
yeah,
and they did play that in this one a few
yeah,
times.
a Muzak version of it in the
Yeah, when
dentist's
Roy gets
office.
into the elevator, and I think when
Yeah,
they were in the dentist's office, so that's
yeah,
kind of neat that they kept that going, at least
yeah.
for the second film.
Yeah, I would say like some of the stuff, like the little touchstones, I think they start to falter off after
Mhm.
this. Uh it's interesting too because the guy who made this movie ends up making number four also, unfortunately. So he's at least one for two in this. He makes one of the better ones, but also one of the worst ones. But he also directed, and I'm just double checking on this. But he also directed Snakes on a Plane.
Oh, really?
So yeah, which is it's not a great movie by any
I
means,
had fun
but
with that movie.
it's a fun movie. It's a doofy fun movie that's got one of the great taglines of all time. Um, but unfortunately, the director himself mysteriously died in his hotel room in Johannesburg, South Africa, back in like
Oh, wow.
2013. There's no suspected foul play or anything, and nothing ever came out as to his cause of death, according to Wikipedia. Um, so it's interesting though that yeah, he just mysteriously died.
That's creepy. Oh my god.
So he directed Final Destination 2, and the Final Destination. Snakes on a Plane. He also directed this movie called Cellular, which I liked.
Oh, I do
That
love
one with,
Cellular.
yeah, Jason Statham, Chris Evans,
Chris
and
Evans.
Kim Basinger. That one's really good.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he was also a former stuntman and did a lot of like stunt coordinator work and also second unit director type stuff. So he did a lot of various things. So when couldn't get a director gig, he was doing other jobs as well. So
Well,
so
interesting.
yeah. So but yeah, he mysteriously died just suddenly, you know, with no known cause that I could find anyway. So um just a mysterious, circumstances there. But yeah, no, it's so funny too because like he directs two of them, and James Wong, who directed the first one, comes back to direct the third one.
Mhm.
So it's interesting to have like these two directors who did the first four of them all together. They just took turns.
Oh my
so
goodness.
but yeah. But that's all I've got on this episode. I really enjoyed it. I know we kind of went through it. I like the first episode with Katrina. I didn't do nearly as synopsizing as we did this time. But it was fun to do it just mostly just because we got to talk about the death scenes and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we
Um,
just give you guys a shorthand. You need to watch if you
yeah,
haven't seen it, which I can't imagine you haven't seen Final
yeah, yeah,
Destination 2 at this point. But, yeah, I really just love this one. Once again, it was nice seeing a
yeah,
black character. I knew he was gonna die. Everybody's gonna die. So that was not a high stake element for me, but I loved seeing his perspective of it and just being like, "Whatever, I don't give a shit about this. This isn't gonna happen to me." Um, and he was not a caricature. I know by the time you get to the 3rd one, they do
yeah,
have another black character, and I was not a fan. But but
yeah,
that's
yeah,
but that's just me. I will say, not that this goes in with the Rube Goldberg mousetrap zaniness of death. If you do like weird, unusual deaths, and you like, obviously you've done the Saw, you've covered all of the Saw franchise.
yep,
Um, there's an older movie from the 70s. They actually made two, The Abominable Dr. Phibes and the Abominable Dr. Fives Returns, I think.
Mm.
He has a way of being, he's basically Jigsaw, and he comes up with
Okay.
these different ways of dispatching people. He has a reason in each movie why he's wanting to kill these people, but it's the same thing. He gives you a lot of misdirection. You're like, oh, okay, no, it's not gonna be that. It's gonna be this. So those movies are kind of odd, but they're fun to watch. You compare them with Final Destination or Saw, probably more on the Saw side.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I love an unusual death.
Interesting.
I love when
Yeah.
they're quirky and weird, and you're just sitting there going, "What the fuck?" You know, those kind of movies are just the best kind for me, and this whole franchise is full of those. It's just I love it. I cannot tell you how much I love this franchise. It's a lot of
Yeah.
fun. It, of course, it's nonsensical and makes, absolutely 0 sense why death is, setting these people up for all of these little increments to get to the big
Right.
showdown, but it's worth it. It's always worth it.
Yeah. No, definitely. I agree. It's a lot of fun. And that's why I'm covering them all finally. This this series has been on my list for a long time, so I'm glad I'm finally getting to it. So, all right. Well, thank you for coming on. As always, obviously you come here most every week, but it's good to have you on for a longer episode when I can get you.
Yeah, I love being a guest when you have something that I can actually talk about because I don't watch nearly as much as I used to, but this was a no-brainer. I had to do this one.
Yeah, no, definitely. Uh, I think the next time we will be talking will be for our top 10 of the year. So
Woohoo! I cannot wait.
that for a long episode, we'll be talking to each other every week, of course, before
Right.
that. But but for a long episode, yeah, we got our big long top 10 episode coming up at the end of the year, which is going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to go over all the really great stuff we've
It's been
seen this
so good
year.
this year.
So it's been pretty
Ridiculous.
good. It's been pretty good. Every year I say this has been the best year in horror since I started doing this, but this has been a pretty damn good year.
Yeah.
Um, so there's been lots of really good stuff out. So all right. Well, thank you again. And why don't you let people know where they can find you online?
Well, pretty much I'm on Instagram, but not really because I'm taking a break from social media
Yeah,
right now.
same still.
But I am there. I go there just to peep and see what people are about. I'm on Blue Sky, kind of sort of on Discord, not really, never on Twitter anymore, but I'm wherever you listen to podcasts, and I try to do a weekly show depending on life. So just
Yeah.
wherever you listen to podcasts, come and listen.
All right. Well, thank you again, and we'll talk to you again next week. And until then, stay creepy. Thanks for listening. Creepy and Geeky is produced and hosted by Robert Clark. If you like what you've heard, please consider giving the show 5 stars and a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And share the podcast on social media to help spread the word. Make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast app or at creepyandgeeky.com. You can follow the podcast by going to creepyandgeeky.com and clicking on any of the social links. If you'd like to follow me, you can find my links at geekthulu.com. You can support the podcast by ordering teas and more on TeePublic or by donating to the coffee page. All of the links are in the show notes. Finally, don't forget, stay creepy.